Welcome back, YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing. In this video, we have Gene McConnell, which I have met him here in Anchorage, Alaska. He is featured the documentary of Buying Her.
What I wrote is dealing with the demand side of sex trafficking, pornography, and sexual exploitation means addressing and transforming the underlying attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that drive individuals, primarily men, to objectify, commodify, and consume other human beings for sexual gratification. It is not merely about punishing buyers or increasing awareness, although important. While legal deterrence and education play a role, true demand reduction goes deeper. It requires changing the internal world of those who consume, transforming how they see women, sex, themselves, and relationships. It's about recognizing that every woman and child has inherent value and dignity, and they are not objects to be used by people with dreams, needs, and worth. The path to ending objectification is restoring humanity and value to every life. This includes helping men recognize the inherent dignity, humanity, and worth of women and children. Healing root issues like trauma, loneliness, and shame that fuel the desire to escape through sexual consumption. Teaching men how to meet their needs emotionally, relationally, and spiritually in a healthy way and not in a non-exploitive way. Cultivating new identity, one marked by integrity, empathy, responsibility, and love. Building communities and cultures that honor women and hold men accountable to not just legally, but morally and relationally be healthy. True demand reduction is not just stopping harmful behavior. It's about becoming someone who would never want to buy, use, or exploit another human being, no matter what. That is, I feel like if we're really going to change this, I believe with all my heart we need the consequences and all of that, because it takes consequences to get to your bottom so you can make changes. But if you don't do a heart change, if you don't address the why, then you change nothing. And so we don't throw away anything that's happened in the work that we've done. It's double down on it. We need it, but we're missing in places for men to get honest and open up and face their stuff and deal with it, instead of sitting in churches service after service after service and hearing them lift and watch, raise their hand, hear the word, know all those right things to say, but still have a secret life that they're not addressing. And my passion is to provide safe places for men to heal and change, because it is possible.
Yeah, Gene, the thing that I love about your definition there, what are some of those misconceptions that you see? And yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned before, I have the privilege of being able to work with survivors pretty often and hear their stories and sit with them. And I think, man, there's so many that come to my mind, but one of the most common misconceptions or myths I see is that prostitution is a choice, when in reality, 89% of those who are trapped in the sex trade want to escape it, and the majority of those being controlled by a pimp. So these women are being abused, forced, manipulated, coerced, and their vulnerability is being exploited on a daily basis. And I want to read some stats to you because I think that they're really important to hear when it comes to this myth. 63% of those in prostitution are raped or have been. 71% of those in prostitution are assaulted physically and verbally on a daily basis or a normal basis. 68% of those in prostitution suffer PTSD on par with combat veterans. And this last one is really damning. The mortality rate of women in prostitution is 200 times higher than that of the average person. 200 times higher. Survivors often say it wasn't a choice, it was survival. And at Exodus Cry, we often say that it's a choice for those who have no other choices. So if exploitation is the only option, is it really a choice? That doesn't sound like freedom to me. I think that's a pretty common one I hear. I'll mention one other one too while we're on the topic. But at Exodus Cry, we do a lot of work within the porn industry as well. And one thing that I always hear is that porn and trafficking don't overlap, or people don't understand the correlation between the two. And I think the film tonight kind of painted the picture pretty well, but just to address it, the sex industry is a $99 billion industry a year. 99 billion, and porn fuels demand, the demand to purchase sex. There are currently an estimated 42 million people trapped in the sex trade worldwide. And like we've learned, trafficking is a supply and demand issue. Without demand, traffickers would not have the incentive to exploit, and porn fuels that demand. It basically builds the appetite to purchase another person for sexual gratification. And so they absolutely are inherently connected. We talk more about this at Exodus Cry too. I mean, I can mention that later on, but those are the two that come to mind the most in this work.
You know, I think the term that we use a lot is the traffickers, right? Those are the exact vulnerabilities that the trafficker would look to exploit and to step into. Brittany, I want to come to you now. You are an amazing example of somebody whose story has gone from like surviving to thriving. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. But I know that is not a journey that happens overnight. I know that's not a journey of one step. Tell me a little bit along the way, what are some of the steps, the processes that get to a life of thriving after some of the experiences you've had?
Well, for me, it was first taking away my addiction, so I had to go to treatment, I had to hit my bottom, I had to lose everything, lose my kids, lose everything. But then it was, going to treatment and finding people that I trust to talk to. I love, in Jean's story where that man just like embraced him. So I'm an Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm not anonymous. And when I sat there with this woman and I told her every single dark secret, every man, every nasty, sick thing, and she just loved me, and she hugged me, and she told me it wasn't my fault, and it was life-changing. So from that moment, it was just like, I can't stay quiet. Like, I have to do something. So it was like at 1 year sober, right when I graduated treatment out of Anchorage, I got with Priceless, and I immediately started mentoring women. That was very powerful and healing. And then, like I said, when Gene showed up and started sharing his story and taking responsibility as a man, I've never heard those words. I've never heard "I'm sorry," or that you didn't deserve that, or I just felt like he was talking to me that day, and so now I just share my story wherever I can and try to spread hope. But it's been 10 years, clean and sober, 10 years.
Good job.